Imagine traveling back tens of thousands of years in time, stepping deep into a freezing prehistoric night, long before bustling cities, before the invention of writing, and even before the dawn of agriculture. A group of early humans gathers around a flickering campfire in the wild. One person picks up a hollowed piece of bone and blows short, broken breaths through it. Another rhythmically clicks two stones together, while those sitting nearby begin to hum, their voices blending into a primitive melody. When did that magical moment first happen? And why did humans create music? This is one of the greatest mysteries in evolutionary history. Music is fundamentally different from humanity's other survival tools. A song cannot fill a starving stomach. A melody cannot build a shelter from a raging storm, and a drumbeat cannot be forged into a weapon to fight off predators. Yet in every single culture ever studied across the planet, human beings have created some form of music. It is intrinsically tied to dance, to lullabies soothing infants, to healing rituals, romance, warfare, and the very survival of the tribe. If music does not directly solve our basic physical survival needs, why did our ancestors invest a massive amount of time and energy to create and preserve it? The truth is that humans probably did not invent music in a single, isolated moment. Instead, it was a miraculous evolutionary journey born from the human voice, bodily rhythms, social play, and above all, a deep biological need for connection. We will never know the exact year the first human melody was sung, for one very simple reason. The human voice leaves behind no fossils. A prehistoric hunter might have sung for hours into the dark night, but those sounds vanished into the air the very instant they were created. The oldest archaeological artifacts we have found today, such as flutes crafted from bird bones and mammoth ivory in the Swabian Jura of Germany, dating back over 35,000 years, or the 7-holed bone flutes found in Jiahu, China, dating back 9,000 years, already possess remarkably sophisticated structures. Their finger holes were mathematically calculated to alter pitch with precision. This proves that by the time those flutes were carved, early humans already possessed a rich and ancient musical tradition. Instruments made of bone or ivory are simply the lucky ones that did not decay over time, while thousands of instruments made of wood, bamboo, animal skin, or plant fibers have completely disappeared from the historical record. In reality, humanity's first and ultimate musical instrument was not found externally in nature. It was the human body itself. Without needing any external tools, our ancestors possessed a flexible vocal cord capable of singing, humming, whistling, and mimicking the sounds of the natural world. Our hands could clap together, and our feet could stomp firmly against the earth to generate driving, powerful rhythms that were instantly contagious. When multiple people clapped and stomped in time with their breathing and footsteps, early music was never separate from dance. It was a full-body physical experience, transforming sound into a rhythmic engine that connected human bodies together. Those first rhythms were rooted in the biological beats pulsing inside our own bodies, the steady thumping of a heartbeat, the rhythmic cycle of breathing, and the even cadence of footsteps moving across the wilderness. Living in close harmony with nature, humans breathed alongside the wind whistling through stone cliffs, the rain falling on forest canopies, the rushing water of forest streams, and the mating calls of birds. Animals in the wild also produce complex vocal sequences to attract mates or defend territory. But human music evolved far beyond those instinctual survival signals. We learned to organize sound into brand new structures, deliberately alter pitch, and combine those tones with symbolism and culture to perform in massive social groups. Many evolutionary scientists believe that before language developed with formal vocabulary and grammar, human ancestors communicated through a primitive musical proto-language. We used pitch, rhythm, and tone to express emotions and intentions. A high, rapid vocalization broadcast warning or excitement, while a low, slow tone carried comfort and peace. While spoken language later evolved to transmit detailed and precise factual information, music took on a much more specialized mission. It regulated human emotion, set the psychological atmosphere, and synchronized the physical actions of an entire group. One of the most compelling theories regarding the origin of music stems from the sacred bond between a mother and her newborn infant. When babies enter the world, they cannot understand spoken words, but their brains are exquisitely sensitive to the pitch, tempo, and rhythm of a voice. When a mother sings a slow, repetitive, and drawn-out lullaby, the music acts as an emotional life jacket. The song signals to the infant that the surrounding world is safe, that their caregiver is right there with them, and that it is time for their heartbeat and breathing to slow down so they can sleep. By observing the child's facial expressions and movements, the mother naturally adjusts the tempo of the song to match the baby's state. It is a wordless dialogue, a beautiful two-way emotional coordination that helps the infant's developing brain build a sense of safety and sustained attention. However, lullabies only explain the softer, nurturing side of music. To understand why we have driving drum beats or earth-shaking war chants, we must look at humanity's evolutionary need for social bonding. Humans are social creatures, but to survive in harsh environments, we were forced to cooperate in large tribes stretching far beyond the nuclear family. In other primate species, tribal bonding is maintained through one-on-one physical grooming. But when group sizes expanded to dozens or hundreds of individuals, it became physically impossible for one person to groom everyone else. Music was the brilliant evolutionary solution to that problem. It functioned as a form of social grooming on a massive scale. When an entire tribe sings together, claps together, or dances to a shared rhythm, a neurological miracle occurs. The heart rates and brain waves of everyone participating begin to synchronize. The gap of individual ego seems to dissolve, giving way to a powerful, unified sense of us. Musical synchronization trains human beings to listen, predict, and adjust their behavior in real time to match those around them. A group of people who are used to understanding and harmonizing with one another around a night campfire will be capable of flawless cooperation when performing heavy physical labor, migrating across treacherous terrain, hunting giant predators, or standing shoulder to shoulder to defend their tribe against rival groups. During grueling collective labor like rowing canoes, pulling heavy stones, or grinding grain, work songs emerged as a shared biological clock. The steady beat of the song signaled the exact fraction of a second for everyone to exert force simultaneously, optimizing collective physical strength and making monotonous work feel much less exhausting. Furthermore, music was the heartbeat of every sacred ritual in human history, from weddings and coming-of-age ceremonies to funerals and harvest festivals. Music used rhythmic repetition and resonant volume to narrow the crowd's focus, guiding the brain into altered states of consciousness. It marked crucial transitions in the cycle of life and created a profound sense of connection with ancestors and the spiritual realm. When words fail in the face of overwhelming grief or explosive joy, music is the only language capable of speaking. It translates chaotic internal feelings into an orderly sonic structure that the community can share and soothe together. Why do we feel such immense pleasure when listening to a beautiful melody? Because the human brain is a relentless prediction machine. When listening to music, the mind constantly guesses what the next note will be and where the heavy beat will land. A great piece of music is a masterpiece of balance between familiarity and surprise. It builds expectation, delays it just enough to create an intoxicating tension, and finally resolves it in a deeply satisfying way. In that exact moment, the brain's reward system lights up, releasing a flood of dopamine that brings intense euphoria and happiness. Before writing was invented to store knowledge, how did our ancestors remember entire tribal histories, family genealogies, social laws, and the exact locations of life-saving water sources in the desert? The answer was music. Melody, rhythm, and poetic rhyme functioned as an indestructible mental cage for human memory. When information is encoded into a song, it is organized into a predictable chronological sequence. If a singer forgets or mixes up a word, the rhythm and melody immediately feel wrong, alerting them to fix the mistake on the spot. Music was our living library, the primary vehicle for transmitting culture and wisdom across hundreds of generations without needing a single sheet of paper or drop of ink. Charles Darwin's evolutionary perspective suggests yet another fascinating role: music as a tool for attracting a mate. Just like the mesmerizing songs of birds in the wild, an exceptional musical performance requires the artist to possess flawless physical health, supreme breath and muscle control, a phenomenal memory, and a sharp, creative intellect. Being able to sing beautifully or play an instrument with mastery broadcasts an attractive biological signal regarding genetic quality and cognitive superiority, turning melody into a powerful courtship display of romance. At the same time, when a tribe raised their voices in roaring war chants backed by precise thundering drum beats, they sent a fierce message to surrounding rivals. We are a massive, highly disciplined population with unbreakable cooperative strength. In this context, music became a defensive fortress protecting tribal territory, helping to deter bloody conflicts before they even had a chance to begin. As humanity spread across the continents, music branched out and evolved alongside culture. Geographical environments dictated the materials used for instruments. Forest dwellers crafted bamboo flutes and wooden drums. Coastal tribes blew into seashells, while nomadic groups on the steppes used the bones and skins of livestock. The local language of each region also shaped the melodic contours and rhythms of their songs. Yet, even though the sounds, scales, and performance styles of global cultures today can sound startlingly different, the underlying biological wiring that makes our bodies respond to rhythm and pitch remains a universal inheritance shared by all of humanity. As societies grew more complex with the birth of agriculture and ancient civilizations, music entered a new chapter, moving away from a purely communal activity where everyone sang and danced together. A clear divide began to form between professional musicians performing in royal courts or temples and passive audiences sitting quietly to listen. The invention of musical notation and eventually modern recording technology froze melodies in time and space, allowing a composition to live entirely independent of its creator and travel across the globe at the speed of light. To this day, scientists continue to debate whether music is a direct evolutionary adaptation that helped humans survive, or a magnificent byproduct born from our brain's development of language, pattern recognition, and motor control. Perhaps the truth lies right at the intersection of both. Music likely started as a natural extension of the human voice and bodily movement, but because of the immense value it provided in bonding communities, reducing conflict, nurturing infants, and preserving knowledge, natural and cultural selection kept it, refined it, and wove it into the very fabric of human nature. Music was not invented simply to be a luxurious piece of entertainment, nor does it belong to a single inventor or a single moment in time. Humans began creating music the exact moment our ancestors realized that sound could do far more than warn of danger. They discovered that sound possessed the miraculous power to make separate bodies move to a single beat, focus many minds onto a single emotion, and transform lonely individuals into an unbreakable tribe. Those ancient bone flutes may have lain silent beneath the earth for tens of thousands of years, but every time we clap our hands to a beat, sing a baby to sleep, or raise our voices together in a crowd, we are carrying on an ancient symphony. A symphony that forged humanity and keeps us connected together in this vast world.